Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the thick of Hollyween, so thank you for joining us. For more content for Hollyween, make sure you check out my Instagram page. I'll leave it down below in the description as well. But yeah, today we are, as you can see in the title, we're doing some books. We're talking about some books and the ones that I have read this last month, September, and what I thought of them. So yeah, if you hear extra stuff in the background, I am at the library currently, and it's a very windy day. But before I get into the ones that I've already read, I wanted to show you guys what I just picked up to read. I might finish these before the end of the month because I'm filming this in September, but I don't know yet. So I'm going to start this series. It's called Beast of Night. I don't know if you can see that. And then I got this next series. I didn't get the second one to this one yet because I didn't realize it was a series until today, so it's too late. And then I got this one called The Bells. It's kind of cut off because I got it, I put it on hold, but it's called The Bells. And the second book for that one is The Everlasting Rose, if you can see that. Right. So I'm excited to read all of those. I don't know, I remember putting them on my TBR. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous on the inside. But I don't remember why, like what it was about that made me say, ooh, this will be so bomb. So hopefully that's good. Hopefully you can hear me because the wind is blowing in the air. So, but those are the three that I got today. Also, I wanted to show you guys my shirt. It says, okay, let me back up. Can you see that? Today's Halloween shirt. Okay, anyway, I needed you to see the magic that is Halloween. Okay, so the first book that I read this last month, was for Black Girls Like Me. If I remember correctly, it was pretty good. It was really good, I think. I want to say it was about Black Girls Like Me. Okay, I remember. So this girl, I think she was the only black one in her family, and she was adopted, and so she was trying to kind of figure out like life of like this in between, like I'm black but my family's not, and so how do I exist in this world? And she had a black friend, but her family moved, and so she no longer had that friend, and so they were trying to call each other and text and stay in touch because they were, oh my gosh, they were in very similar situations, so they were trying to like stay in touch with one another so that they could just talk about the stuff that they go through that only they know about, because they were both adopted and they're in white families as two black girls. And then eventually they kind of start this secret code email chain so that their parents and families don't find out, and that they call that For Black Girls Like Me. So it's really cool. It's a really cute one. I think it's good for everyone to read, to kind of just like understand a little bit into the psyche of what it is, you know, even like the small things that you might not get, but it's a microaggression to me. Like, it was just really good. Highly recommend. The next one was called Deathless Divide. That one was really good. It was definitely a different perspective for me, but this kid, he is, I want to say Hispanic, or his family is Mexican maybe, like from Mexico, and they're immigrants, and I don't think they're documented. They're undocumented immigrants, and the mom gets found out and is sent away. I think she's sent like to the border or something, and they're trying to get her back, and they're trying to figure it out. This kid is like a middle schooler in school, so he's going through all of this at home and can't really tell anyone because his dad's also still undocumented. So if he like is telling people, then it can be hard for him to get out of that situation. So, but that one was a really good book, and it was kind of, I mean, obviously given the premise of everything going on, it was sad, but it was really good. So highly recommend that one as well. The next one I read, and let me preface, I did read like a million books this last month, so that's tea. But the next one was called With the Fire on High. Oh my gosh, guys, focus on me. I really love that one. It was so good. I would say a 4.5 star. Like, that one was super good. I think it was about this girl, I want to say she was mixed. I think she was Afro-Latina. And she was struggling, she was going through it. I think her dad was sort of deadbeat, but he was also like this activist for, I want to say in Puerto Rico, like a Puerto Rican activist or something. And you know, she kind of always had to deal with, why are these people more important than me? Because he was never there for her, but for everyone else he was always there, and they thought of him as a father figure and an uncle or a brother or whatever. So it was really sad, but no, it was a good book. It was really good. Her grandma, sorry, raised her. I think her mom had either passed away or was just never in her life. She gets pregnant and she has to kind of deal with that. She also, okay, the best part about it, she's a cook and she's really good. She's like naturally talented, and she's trying to figure out how to mix natural talent with the discipline of being able to be under someone, because if you're a cook, you're not just automatically going to be a cook at your own restaurant. Like, you might have to be under someone at some point. So she's kind of dealing with that, and like just being a high school senior and wanting to go off but not sure anymore because now she's pregnant, and all these different things. And so it was a really good book. Highly recommend that one as well. The next one was called Photographic, The Life of Graciela Iturbide. I don't really know how to say her last name. But yeah, that was good. It was a graphic novel about this photographer, and it was cool because it showed different, it showed her life story and like how she became a photographer, but it also showed images that she had taken, and it was really cool because someone like turned some of her images into graphic designs, and so it's cool to see like the two comparisons. But it was a really good book. It was a short read because it's a graphic novel, so it's easy to just go through it. But that one was fun. I also read Genesis Begins Again. That one was good, if I remember. I'm just gonna read you what it says. It says, this is the story of a 13-year-old girl who is filled with self-loathing and must overcome internalized racism in a verbally abusive family to finally learn to love herself. There are 96 things Genesis hates about herself. She knows the exact number because she keeps a list. Okay, that helped regenerate my little memory, my bad memory. But I do remember this one. This one was super good, and I think it was so good because I could relate. Growing up in a very white town, suburb, society, I could relate to this one because she's just kind of going through life. I think it was a middle grade, so I think she was like in middle school-ish area, maybe early high school, and she is, oh, well, it does say 13, so middle school. And she is like, I remember somebody at her school like made a list of the things that they hate about her, and she kept it, and she, instead of like counteracting that and being like, no, these are things I love about myself even though they hate this, she added to the list of things that they hated. And so it's this long list of things that everyone hates about her, including herself, and she internalizes all these things. And so it's her battle with being able to overcome that and be able to see like, no, like, just because someone else doesn't like this about me doesn't mean that it's bad. And I mean, like a lot of black women, I can't even say that, but like some black women, we deal with the struggle of bleaching our skin. And I think a book that I would recommend for that, I haven't read it yet, but The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, I think kind of deals with that too, of like changing your appearance to be more like the European beauty standard. So I think this book had a lot to deal with that, and it was just a really good one. Highly recommend. So yeah, the next one I read was called Internment. I think this is a gateway novel this year, 2021 to 2022, and it's super good. This one is about, it's almost like the Holocaust and American slavery kind of combined in a modern day. So it's a lot, but it's really good. This girl's family, I want to say they're Muslim, and one night their house is raided and these people take them away to this internment camp, like the title says, and they have to figure out what the heck is going on and how to deal with it, how to get out of it, if there's even a way to get out of it. This one was really good. This was a page turner, because I was reading. I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck's gonna happen? Will they get out? And it was crazy, because basically they took all of the groups of people in America that were not Anglo-Saxon, blue-eyed, not brown hair, I'm sorry y'all, blue eye, blonde hair, any of them, they were pretty much safe in Christian and cis, straight, male, if we're being honest. But everyone else, the others in this society, were basically thrown into these different groups of the internment camp, and they have to go through like how to get out, if to get out, how to survive, and all this. And it's really good. I would almost say a 5-star, maybe 4.8 to 5. Oh my gosh, guys, this next one was super cute. It's called Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. This one is super cute. If you like To All the Boys I've Loved Before, it's just like that, except it is a black love interest, black main characters, and that one's really cute. This one was fun for me because it was like these two, it shows the dynamic of what a black person can be, and that we're not all from the exact same background. We're not all the same, because you can't all be the same person. We're very different in different ways, and so it shows that. And like, one is more it almost reminds me of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. One gives me the vibes of Will, like the main character guy gives me the Will vibes, and then the main character girl gives me vibes of like Hillary in a way, and she's kind of just like in her own world. But basically what happens is, the premise of the book is, she has this journal, she journals her whole life, she makes lists, everything is a list, absolutely everything. You can think about it, you name it, it's our list in her journal. So this guy comes over to study with their group. There's a group of 3 of them, and they're doing this project, and they got to study together. And then he leaves, and they accidentally switch books. So she has his book and he takes hers, and then he loses it, and it gets out into the world, and then someone pops up and is like blackmailing her about her list, and they're like, we're gonna tell the whole world, we're gonna send out a list every day that you don't complete something on this specific list. And so she's got to figure out like, who did it? Was it him? Was it someone else? Like, do we know this person? Like, who the heck could be blackmailing me? How do I like get it to stop and like overcome all these things? But it's really good, it's really cute. I highly recommend that one as well. The next one we read, sorry I keep saying that, the next one, like that, anyway, next one we read was The Field Guide to the North American Teenager. This one was pretty, the North American teen, maybe it was teenager, I don't remember, you can see it here. That one was pretty cute, that one's pretty good. This guy, he's from Canada, and now is in, did he move to Texas? He moved somewhere in the US, and he's kind of just battling through life, trying to figure it out. He's pretty much, he has a dark, dry humor, which is fun, and just kind of like, it's cool to just see him in his life. And it's also really interesting because the books, majority of the books that I've found that I read apparently are from like this one, from the woman's perspective or female perspective rather than a male. And so this one was interesting because it's from a male's perspective. So I recommend that one as well. The next one I read, this was cute. It was called My Life as an Ice Cream Sandwich. And it was this girl, she was a black girl, and I think it was in middle grade, so she was in middle school, and they called her an ice cream sandwich because they're like, you're an Oreo, you're weird, which is not something you call someone. That's very offensive. Anyway, she was kind of weird. She was running around, she was in her own world, but it was cool to see that because she like she didn't care. She didn't let that deter her from her life. Like she how she went about life and how she thought about life was from like an intergalactic world, and she called these, they were like these bad guys and then the good guys and the mission that they had to complete, and she was really close with her grandpa, and it was really cute and it was really cool, and I recommend that one. I want to say it was a pretty short read. It wasn't too long, but that one was cute, and she was living with her grandpa and mom for a minute. She lived with her grandpa and her mom for a minute, and then something happens to where she has to live with her dad for a little bit, and then yeah, so it's cool, and kind of navigating how to make friends even though they think that she's super crazy and weird, because she's into like this, she loves like Star Trek, and so like that's kind of how she bases her world and her life around, is the Star Trek thing, keeping in mind that her grandpa that she loves dearly and she's super close with is he works at NASA. I think he was like, in the story, he's like one of the first black men to be able to work on a NASA spaceship or something. So that's kind of where the where her little mindset gets started from, or the foundation or roots of it comes from. So yeah. Next I read Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, and I own this one and I just never read it. Like, I remember starting it back in the day and I just never finished it, but now I did, and it was really good. It was a quick read because it was poetry, and it's like her life, so it's just kind of like her life growing up as a brown girl, and her family and like the roots of that, her parents, her siblings, and so that was cool. It was a quick read, so I mean, I can't like not recommend it. It was good. What was this one? Okay, I know what this one was. The Proposal. So there's this series, this ongoing series by Jasmine Guillory that I have like started reading and then stopped and then started, and like I've read them a little bit out of order, but eventually I will finish it. But this is the third one that I've read from her in this series, and it's really cool because it's like Anna and the French Kiss and like Lola and the Boy Next Door, because they're standalones, but if you go like in an order, then you can kind of see like how some of the characters like all connect, and it's really cool. So like the main characters from this book might be the best friend of the main characters from this one, which might be like the acquaintance of this one, and so it's really cool to see the interconnected world between all of these characters. So I recommend that one. It's pretty good. It's got a little bit, it's more of an adult feel on it, because I think it's an adult book, because you know, like most of these are YAs, and I think this one's adult, so it's got more of an adult feel to it, but it's really good. It's really cute. In this one, the main character girl is dating this dude, and they're at a baseball game, and he proposes, and she's like, we've been dating for like 2 weeks, I don't even know you, what the heck is going on? And like the worst proposal ever, like jumbotron, everything. Never talked to her about it, didn't discuss to her about like, hey, like maybe we should, you know, consider marriage. No, it was never discussed. He was just like, let's marry. And she's like, no. And it's really awkward, and they're like obviously booing her, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, because he's like a really attractive model, but that's all he's got going for him. And so this guy and his sister come in, swoop in, and like save her, and so it's kind of how their relationship grows, and so it's really good. Recommend. Ooh, this next one is really good. Sorry I did that, that was weird. This next one is really good. It's called Some Places More Than Others by Renee Watson. First off, she's a really great author, but it's really good. It was about this girl, and her family's from Harlem, but I don't even know where they lived anymore. Yeah, her parents like were from Harlem and met there, and there's a lot of history there. Her dad doesn't talk to the grandpa, and no one knows, well, not no one knows why. The girl doesn't know why, and she wants to know about her family and her history and where she's from. Her mom is currently pregnant, but has gone through multiple pregnancies and has lost the baby, and so this one though is like coming to full term and is going well, so like a rainbow baby situation, and so but for the majority of her life she's been the only child, because she's seen her mom going in and out of these pregnancies. She wants to know how her family became her family, like how did how is she where she is right now. Like, she wants to know the roots, the lineage of like, how did our family start, you know? But no one's really talking or telling her anything, and she's like, please tell me. And then her dad's going on a business trip to New York, and she's always wanted to go, and she's like, please take me. And her mom's like, nope, you're not going for your birthday. And then eventually she's gonna go. So she's going for her birthday, and alongside with this, she has a school project, a suitcase project, where she has to like get a suitcase and kind of bring together some items that represent her family or represent her in a way. And it's really cool to see it, to see that one and how it ends up. And it's really good. I recommend it. I think it was a middle grade too, because I think she was around the middle school age. So yeah, this next one is called How High the Moon, and it's actually it's a deep one. It's a middle grade, I think, because these are middle schoolers. It's kind of from the kid perspective, and it's hard. It's hard to go through because it's based off of the real story of George Stinney, who was the youngest American ever to be executed because he was black. That's basically what happened. So yeah, it was crazy because they were kind of going through that as a young girl, and her friends, and they're running around. It's like, ooh, it's post-slavery, but I want to say, is it pre-Civil War or is it during? I don't even remember. I'll have to look. But it was a deep one because they were kind of dealing with the injustices and the racism, the blatant racism, I shall say, because we still deal with it today, but it's more institutionalized and more of a system rather than blatantly. But they were dealing with the blatant racism and kind of trying to navigate it. This one girl, I think at one point she goes to live with her mom for a little bit, and she lives up north, and so she's like, oh, you guys don't even have to do these little things, and like, you can just walk about your day, and there's no like assigned water fountains. Like, that's awesome. And then she goes back to the south later on, but it's kind of just navigating that. I think this one's so cool because it's from a child's perspective of what's going on, and being like, oh, like, why are they killing my friend, and oh, now he's on trial, like, is he gonna live or not? And so it was good. The next two are in a series, and it was so good. They were thick, but they were good. It's called Dread Nation, and then the second one is called Deathless Divide. So the first one, Dread Nation, was really good, and basically the premise of that one is Civil War again, but so they're literally, the soldiers are in the middle of the Civil War on the battlefield fighting. Do we slavery, do we not slavery, fighting. And then the ones that were dead, they just pop back up randomly on the battlefield, and they're like zombies. And so now they're like, okay, well, we can't be fighting this now we have to turn around and fight the zombies so that we're not all dead. And so it's basically a zombie apocalypse, Civil War era book. So it's really cool but weird in that way. And so they're kind of having to deal with these zombies, this, you know, epidemic, and trying to figure out, like, how do we go through this. We have a scientist guy that's trying to figure out a way to, like, well, multiple scientist dudes that are trying to figure it out. But basically what happens is all the black people are pushed to the forefront, and they're like the fighters. They have to go fight for the white people in the back, as usual. But that was sketch. But yeah, so like when you reach a certain age, like the black kids would get sent away to train so that they can, like, kill these zombies for, and then the goal per se would be for them to be able to fight alongside a family, and so, and like be the family's assassin? No, not assassin. personal zombie fighter, I'll say, I guess. But yeah, I'm not describing it very well. It was really good. Like, these 2 books were extremely well. Okay, so my camera died, but the second one basically just keeps the storyline going, and it was a really good series. I highly recommend that one. I would say around a 4.5 to a 5 star. Like, it was really good. It was fun. It was never like, even though it was a long book, it never felt like, oh shoot, like I'm reading for 50 million years. Like, it was never that deep. So yeah, and last but certainly least, I read Akata Warrior. It's the second one to Akata Witch, which I read a couple months ago, and that is the book that actually made me want to stop reading for a fat minute. So if that says anything, that one, I honestly, anywhere between a 0 and 2 stars. Like, it was trash to me personally. Like, if you want to read it, go for it, do you, baby. But it was not my cup of tea. Both of them were trash to me. I couldn't even tell you what they were about. I think the premise was good, but the execution was off, because the premise was basically this girl, she was born in America, but her family was I don't want to say African, because of course, but I don't remember which, because Africa is a continent, people. Remember that, please. It's not a country. Anyway, I want to say Nigeria. They were Nigerian maybe, and she goes back, and the family moves back there, and she's living there, and then she's like a witch or something magical, and like she's kind of navigating this, but it's like a secret society one, so she can't tell her family. And like, you think it would be good, and it sounded good, but when I read it, it was just like not it at all. So yep, just have a caution if you read that one, but if not, like, go for it. I don't know, let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you've read any of these books, and you know what your rating was, your star rating, if you liked them, if you hated them, like what I should read next maybe. Just let me know. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for coming along this ride, not only for our books, but also this month with Hollyween, which I'm super excited about. I love Halloween so much that I decided to call it Hollyween. So yes, but thank you again for watching. Again, if you want some more content for Hollyween, check the description for my Instagram below. But thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little trip to the library. Let me see if I can get it in there. No, okay. The trip to the library. But yes, again, I will see you guys next time, and yeah, peace out from your girl H on this Halloween.